This video is for all of you who are going to Hyderabad Embassy for your F1 visa interview. We've been tracking the interview experiences over the last 1 month really closely, and in this video I'm going to share with you the exact questions being asked in Hyderabad Embassy, what are the most focused areas, and what exactly are visa officers looking for. Plus, I also have a student with me who prepared with us and she got her visa approved in Hyderabad Embassy. She has really good insights to share, not just about her interview, but also what she observed when she was standing in the line. All of this is coming your way. Keep on watching. Hi guys, my name is Shachi. I'm a USA visa coach. On this channel, you'll find tons of useful videos on the US visa process. We have an entire playlist for fall 2025. And in the description box below, you will find resources to prepare yourself for the DS-160 form as well as for the interview. They are free resources and you can also work one-to-one with me. So do check out all of the good stuff once you're done watching this video. So let's start by understanding the interview pattern and the questions. The most significant thing to note about Hyderabad Consulate was the volume of the applications. The volume of F1 visa interviews conducted in Hyderabad Embassy was by far the largest. In fact, I would say it was 3x or even 4x compared to other consulates like Delhi or Chennai. And this we observed because we were tracking the interviews across all the consulates, and just the sheer number of experiences shared in Hyderabad was significantly larger compared to any other consulate. So if you heard a lot of approvals from Hyderabad or a lot of rejections, that's because of this volume. There were just more number of students, more interviews happening in Hyderabad. Coming to the time, now Hyderabad also followed a trend which was similar to other consulates like in Delhi, Mumbai, Chennai, that the applicants were allowed before the time mentioned on their appointment. So let's say that you had an appointment at 9 and you happened to reach the consulate earlier around 7:30 or 8, you could directly enter and do your process. You didn't have to wait till 9. So Hyderabad also followed a sort of first come first serve basis where if you are around the time mentioned in your appointment, you were being let in. The typical interview duration in Hyderabad was slightly longer compared to other consulates. So Hyderabad interviews were between 4 to 5 minutes compared to about 2 to 3 minutes in the other consulates. And I think the reason for this is that when we spoke to students, the main feedback that they gave us was that once the officer asked the question, they were given enough time to answer and to complete it. And very rarely the officer interrupted them or cut them short in middle of an answer. So the pattern essentially follows them asking a question, listening thoroughly, assessing it, asking the next question, and then moving on and so on and so forth. So because of this, the interviews were slightly longer, averaging around 4 to 5 minutes. There were also some students who had a pretty long interview. We have seen cases where in Hyderabad, they've been even around 10 to 12 minutes of interview. Coming to the time taken to complete the process. So it's taking a student anywhere between 1.5 to 2 hours to complete the entire process. So right from the time you enter to the time you exit, the entire time is about 2 hours. And lastly, documents. So again, this was a pattern similar to other consulates. No documents were asked except for the mandatory documents. That's your I-20, SEVIS, and of course passport. No other documents have been asked in Hyderabad Consulate so far in the interviews that have happened. Next, let's talk about the most focused areas and the most frequently asked questions at Hyderabad Consulate. Scanning through the interview experiences, we saw that the questions were primarily in 4 categories. And the topmost category was university. This was one area which almost every student had a question. And the most asked question within university was, how many universities did you apply to and how many admits did you get? Almost every student was asked this. And based on the response given by the student, the officer also cross-questioned. So let's say that the student had only one admit or they had applied to very few universities. They were also asked, why do you have only one admit or why have you applied to such few universities? In fact, the student experience that I'm going to share with you in just a bit, she was asked exactly this question. She had one admit and she was also asked why only one admit. Now, thankfully, we had anticipated and prepared this, so she was able to answer and deliver it well in the interview. You can skip ahead to this timestamp and check what was the exact answer she gave for why only one admit. Apart from this, students were also very frequently asked, how did you come to know about this university? Did you take anybody's help in researching about the university? They were also asked, why this university? We have an entire video which explains how to answer why this university in a simple and natural way. I'm going to link this video right here. You can check it out. And about the university, students were also asked questions like, where is this university located? What do you know about the city or the place in which the university is located? After university, the next biggest focus area of the officers was funding. We saw a lot of questions being asked about funding as well. Right from the simple explain your funding or who are your sponsors to details about the loan. So students who had an education loan were asked questions about the loan. Where is the loan from? What is the rate of interest? What is the repayment period? In fact, some students were also asked that you have taken such a big loan, how do you plan to manage it? How do you plan to repay it? And questions were also asked about the sponsor, what is the profession of your sponsor, what is the annual income of your sponsor. Now, one very interesting thing to note about funding is that though a lot of questions were asked, almost no one was asked for documents related to funding. But while asking the questions, the visa officer seemed to take their time, which most likely means that they were checking what was the funding mentioned in the I-20, what was the funding mentioned in the DS-160, and the answers, and whether everything is aligning or if there's any mismatch between the three. So when you prepare your funding answer, take a lot of care to ensure that the funding structure in the I-20, what you're mentioning in the DS-160, and the answer that you're going to say in the interview are in sync, and there's no misalignment between the two. If you have any more questions on this, feel free to put it in the comment section below. So if you have any confusion or any questions around I-20 and DS-160 funding, put in your exact questions and I'll try to get back to you. After funding, the next focus area was past academics. So academics was given quite a bit of importance in Hyderabad Consulate, and students were asked about their previous education. It could be bachelor's. Some of them had a master's already, so they were also asked about the master's. And the questions were about their academic scores. If the score was less, they were asked why is it less. And it was also about the subjects, what did they study in their bachelor's or their master's. And in some cases, students were also asked about the final year project that they had done in their bachelor's. And the last focus area of the Hyderabad Consulate was the course in the US. So this is something similar that is being happening in the other consulates as well. Some question is being asked about the course that you're going for. Either it is, to justify the course, why do you need this? Or it could be some technical questions around the subjects which are there in the course. If you're still here, still watching the video, do give it a thumbs up and comment below Hyderabad. And this will let me know how many of you are going to Hyderabad, and we can bring you more content and more information from the Hyderabad Consulate. The next part of the video is going to be about all the unique questions that are being asked at Hyderabad Consulate. Since we scanned through a lot of interviews, we were able to spot the unique ones, and these are the questions which are typically not asked or have not been asked yet in the season. And I have a list with me and I'm going to share that with you. First one, did you go through any consultancy? So the visa officers were asked whether you went through any consultancy, and I think they primarily meant for the university part, but yes, this was asked. And yeah, just a quick pointer, you need to show that you did the entire process of applying to the universities yourself, and do not mention any consultancy or anybody's name. Second, what is your second option for university and why is this your second option? So after they told their admits, they were asked that, okay, out of this admits, what was your second choice, or where would you have gone if not this university? And they were also asked the reason for it. What is your quant score? So typically we see that these officers just ask for test scores, like overall test scores. So let's say that GRE I've scored, let's say a 320. But in some cases we observed that they also ask specifically the quant score. So that means they wanted to also know if you remember the breakup between the scores. Next, this is such a huge loan. What security did you give? So they wanted to know what is the security, which means what was the collateral that was given for the loan. Now, your loan could have a collateral. It could also be a non-collateral based loan. And all of these details you will get when you look at the sanction letter of your loan. In which city is the university located and what do you know about the city? So this is, I think, something which I pointed earlier as well, that you should do the research about where you're going, about the place and the nearest airport, and just gather information that you can use. Why do you want to leave your current job and go for school? So I think from this, what the officer basically meant was, why do you want to do a master's now? And it was just asked in a different way, that why do you want to leave your current job and go to school? What assets your sponsor assured for the loan? So what assets did your sponsor assured for the loan essentially again points to the collateral. So the officer wants to know that what is the collateral given for the education loan. Tell me about yourself. So you had to introduce yourself. And here typically one mistake that we see some students make was that it went too much into the personal details, like which city they're from, something about their family as well. But tell me about yourself in a F1 visa interview should be strictly about you. So it should just talk about probably your name and then quickly move to your academic background and your work experience. And even when it comes to the academic and the work experience, you're essentially telling the highlights. Don't go into too much details about the subjects or your work roles, but essentially give like a structure to the officer where you're introducing yourself in terms of your name, what is your highest academic qualification, and one line about your work experience. Next question, what was your motivation to study in the US? Now, this question I feel could be answered in two ways depending on when it comes in the interview. Let's say that it comes right in the beginning of the interview and he asks, what's your motivation to study in the US? The officer is talking more about in terms of why this course or why do you want to study this domain. However, let's say that you've already answered some question related to the course, and if this question comes towards the end of the interview, then it would be more of why US and why not any other country. Which high school did you study in? Now, for some reason, this I remember very clearly. This experience was for a student who was applying for a master's program, and they asked which high school did you study in. It could have been just a verification or just a check. Tell me about your second priority university. So this is again very similar to the question that we discussed. What is your second option? So some officers also asked it as, what is your second priority university? Tell me academic differences between the two universities. Now, this question came up in a situation where the student was asked, what are your admits? And they were asked, what is your top two choices? And then they asked, what are the academic differences between the two university? Which essentially meant that the officer wanted them to compare the course, the curriculum, and then point out to any differences between the two. So these are the unique questions that are being asked in Hyderabad Consulate. In case you have come across any other unique question, do put it below in the comment section so that other students can benefit as well. The next part of the video is really interesting. I have with me a student who got her visa approved recently at Hyderabad Consulate. In fact, she prepared with us with the core package, and she was very observant. Not only does she have good insights to share about her experience, but also she has observed a lot of things that were going on in the consulate and the mistakes that students were making. So do listen to her experience coming up right here. Congratulations. How do you feel?
Yeah, he, you're first of all relieved of all the stress that has been going on, all that. And yeah, I feel great. And I really wanted to thank you, because you told me how to handle the situation type of questions, how to answer them practically. Because what happened, she asked me, how many admits do you have? And I told her that I applied to three and two are pending, and I named the universities and one from which the admit that I got. Then she was like, no, I asked you how many admits do you have, and then I felt it's going down now. So I just told her I don't have means nothing negative. I told her I apply two are pending, but one is this since they receive a high volume of things and all that. And then I told her that I have chosen these universities as per the curriculum. That aligns with these subjects, and then I told her that even the faculty I want to work with Dr. Karthik Gopalan going forward for my thesis, and he already has 8 US patents. And there is where she felt that okay, this person is genuinely interested. She has good knowledge about the subjects and the teachers, and she knows what she's doing. So then she cut me and she said that okay, your visa is issued. And travel safely. And then I was like, okay. And first question also, she was like, when I went, I was like, good morning, officer, and I smiled. And she really did not care to even look at my face. She was just like, she started scrolling through the DS 160, and she was like this. So I was like, okay, now she's going to ask something tricky. So the first question was also like, you have worked with great companies. Why US now? So she didn't even care about Binghamton or
The
something, anything.
exact question we had discussed, you remember? I told you that the variations could be that, oh, you have such good experience.
Yeah, right. Same variation. And she was like, why US now? And then I was like, okay. So I told her that why I want to, I'm currently working as this senior associate and all. And I want to transform from a full stack web developer. Like from the past 3 years I've been doing it, I want to transform into an architect. And that is the reason I'm choosing this course at Binghamton and all that. Then she quickly cut and she was like, how many admits do you? So, and overall, how it was that she initially only took my fingerprints, but what happened? A guy in front of me, he was like admitted to UT Dallas, and he even had an admit from CSU, I think California State University. So they did not converse only for 1 minute. And then her next question was like, how many admits? So he said, I have another admit from CSU. But, and again a pause, like they did not speak anything. And then she was just like, your visa is refused. And she was just like this, yeah, next, please come in. So I was like, after that, there was a couple for B2 visa, and then it was me. So I was very horrified at that point of time. I think UT Dallas and CSU guys, she's refusing. I don't know what's going to happen. But no, she considered my thing. And I think she was a little strict, and maybe Hyderabad consulates are strict like that. So overall, a very good experience. And at Mumbai consulate, they means they are very interactive. Like they keep asking questions if the student pauses or they are not able to speak. But at this Hyderabad consulate, they are actually willing to listen. I felt like what you have to talk, and they, if you are not talking, if you're keeping gaps, if you're fumbling, they won't give you any sort of an idea that now it's going in the negative way and all. They'll just be like, yeah, yeah, okay, and they'll refuse and next. So I felt they were extremely professional throughout. They did not give any kind of hints and tips, that a person can take judgment of at that time and answer. So that is one thing. And I felt one more thing, that students nowadays, they take it very casually. Like, I have from this university, why will they reject me? But some things I saw, even there was one guy, there were 40 counters. I was at 39. At 38, there was one guy, he had an admit from CSU. Even he got rejected. So that time, that guy was fumbling. So I was like, okay, pretty sure that this is gone in some other way. But this guy, UT Dallas, he was talking, but he gave a very generic answer. I felt like nothing specific to his undergrad studies, any subjects, or any teacher that he mentioned, and no motivation at all to go. So that is the reason maybe she rejected. So they are, it's tough, but yeah.
So essentially, from what you're saying, a student needs to obviously be prepared and be proactive. That's more important. Like how you give so much inputs in your answer.
Answer, yeah.
The
And
point that she said, okay, okay, that's it.
that's enough. Yeah. Till that point, I was like talking because I was really scared later on. So that is the thing. They allow you to talk. And what I did was, I did not, I kept my tone a little down, like nothing harsh, or, like I'm trying to convince her that no, no, listen, listen to me. I kept my tone normal, but I kept talking at a constant pace. So that is how I think I got through. Otherwise, and really, I felt the questions that you gave were very well structured, because in my situation, it was a little dicey since I had so much experience and good with good companies also. So uh, but yeah, whatever you gave was like the crux. Like, it has to be answered that time. In any sort of a question, you have to adjust an answer. So I felt that is there. Means I told you, if I'm adding irrelevant information, but you are like, no, no, it's good that one, two lines here and there will work. And I felt that worked in my interview. So
I have a couple of questions to ask you about Hyderabad.
yeah.
Were you let in the same time as the appointment, or were they letting you before as well?
Yeah, yeah. I went there at 9:30 and I went in the queue. And at that time, even quarter to 11 people had come, like at 9:30. So people were generally coming 1.5 hour before, I felt. Not very early, but 1.5 hour before. And inside there was a queue, I mean, but it was fast moving. Like in Mumbai, I felt it was a little slower, but this queue was fast moving, and they had obviously a security check. So no mobile phones and no envelopes, and no jewelry also. They were asking women to remove the jewelry. So that was also a point. And they had many counters, I felt like 40 here, the officers sitting in the,
40 counters. That's a lot.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Okay.
40 officers were there.
Oh.
So yeah,
And how much time did you spend in the embassy totally?
10:25 I was out. So 55 minutes, 55 minutes.
Okay, so within an hour.
Yeah.
Hour. Okay. And what was your general sense of approval rate for students? Did you see more rejections, more approvals? What's the sense you got?
I saw more rejections, I felt, but yeah, some girls who carried like enough. I don't know. Means I saw some girls studying in the queue also from their DS 160 or the documents that they had. So I felt who are well prepared, na, they got easily accepted. But who I means it's my experience that I joined this Repok Academy. Their students are very casual. They are just like, हाँ अच्छी यूनिवर्सिटी तो हो ही जाएगा, क्या उसमें इंटरव्यू में इतना बात करना है, बस कुछ तो एक दो लाइन में बोलना है. So casual approach was not working at Hyderabad at least. At maybe Mumbai it works that I have admits and my university is good or my undergrad score is good. So typical Mumbai questions they easily surpassed. But at Hyderabad they were scrutinizing a lot. Like, what do you know about the university? Why you want to visit? Purpose means the purpose should be very clear to them. And even the home ties and all they were asking, like that CSU guy, he did the visa officer there was a man. So he asked him, why would I believe you'll return to India? He did not mention anything home ties and all. He gave a very generic answer, like some opportunities and all. And he just one line he said, I have opportunities in India. So he also got rejected. So I felt that they did not see good university. He has a good score. We should send this guy no. And like in labs also, many people were saying the same thing. They have advanced lab facilities. But what does this advanced lab means? It means that they have technology or softwares in their lab machines, which will help you even to innovate or develop new technology. And they have that experienced faculty who can guide them. So this sense was missing, means they did not know only the meaning of what is the advanced lab facilities. So
Hmm.
because that total sense was missing, why this university also, they were like the ranking and cultural diverse experience and all that thing. So they were like, this is very generic. They wanted something like which has weightage,
About your profile, I had just two more questions. So,
Yes.
if you remember, like when we started the prep, you had already submitted the form, and then we
Yeah.
kind of went back and you changed, like you filled a new form, right?
Yes.
So this is also something we face a lot where students who already submitted do not want to fill a new form, right? But you did and you changed your work experience and everything, right? So,
Everything.
what did you feel like? How, did you also feel a fear about filling a new form and or what convinced
Yeah.
you I should fill a new form now?
I feel one should definitely fill a new form if there is some loophole. Because what happens is, if they find first thing in the interview, if they catch you, you can't give any justification. And if your consulate like interview consulate address is different, then it's a must. Because at Chennai, when I went for biometric, people were sitting with laptops outside to fill a new DS 160. So I feel that one must fill a new form.
And the second thing I wanted to check with you, like what you already mentioned before, but you had one admit,
Yeah.
basically, right? And you had a double master's, or rather diploma, which was almost a master's, if you would say. So, what was your main thought process that, okay, this is like, were you aware that these were the drawbacks you had in your profile and you need to fix it, or what are you thinking going into the process?
Yeah, I definitely felt it was a drawback, and I needed someone to, understand my profile and give me proper answer. That because how many admits is a question that I think all the students they were asking.
Yes,
How
yes.
many admits?
This intake, I think everyone's being asked. How many
Yeah,
versus how many admits? Yeah.
admits. And I feel that it is a very tricky situation if you don't have enough admits, first thing, or you have admits from not tier 3 universities, maybe the rest of them are. So this makes your situation a little bit this. So I think the best way is, to convince the officer that time that no, what I selected is the best. What I have an admit is from the for the best, and you should be able to justify that time that uh, why you want to go forward with your university. Because if suppose let's say I had an admit from even Georgia State University, so it is not a very good. It's not Georgia Tech. It's a Georgia State University. It's not that advanced and all that. But there, how to justify in between these two? Binghamton is also not that great university. So what is the process that you thought to apply? Like maybe the curriculum, the subjects, everything that you had mentioned, maybe the course is advanced, it's not for beginners, and that is something you're looking for. So these points should come up. Otherwise, they and what is happening, Sachi, that chat GPT answers everybody is taking, but they are very generic. And even on the Google, when you search, the first two websites will give you same type of answers that are very generic. So if you are not able to justify as per your profile why you want to go, then it's no use. And I felt one more thing, that while mentioning subjects also, I told her cloud computing, as well as I told her a domain in security. So she was impressed that okay, she is not only looking for cloud computing, but also something in cyber security. So there she was like, okay, she understands, she has researched. Otherwise, people are just like, cloud computing karna hai, and two subjects relevant to that. So means that they want something that is unique, I feel. They don't
Did
want
you
something
use ChatGPT for
repetitive.
your prep? Did you use ChatGPT for your prep, for answer prep?
No, 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 no.
Last thing I wanted to check with you on paper. Again, I don't know if you're aware, but now that
Yeah,
your interview is done, I can tell you. Like on paper, there are a lot of things in your profile which could be picked. Like number one, you had a sibling in the US.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Second, like we discussed, you have a lot of experience, number of years. Third
Yes.
is good companies, sprinkled
Yeah.
across, and a master's and a diploma. So
Diploma.
if somebody looked at your just form, right? So there are like multiple issues, right? That issues,
Yeah. Correct.
multiple risk factors. That okay, already
Correct.
there's a sibling in the US, there's already a diploma or a master, there's so much experience and good companies. Yet you kind of surpass that through the answers that you
Yeah.
give.
Correct.
So I just wanted to highlight that to you, that I think this is just an example because many people feel scared that okay, my profile is not okay. I have these things. But the fact is, if that is coupled with the right logic and the right content and the obviously you deliver it also, that is also there. You should also get an opportunity to speak it in the interview.
Yeah.
It
Correct.
still, be overcome. Because like in the current environment, the rejections are so high, right, for students. So I think yours is a very good example, I feel, of a case where even though things are not perfect on paper, but yet with just the genuineness and your prep that you did,
Yeah.
you were able to
Correct.
convince. Yeah.
As of now, we see that definitely there is a dip in the appointments for F1, and no fresh bulk slots have been released for fresh. Also, there is no update about refusal slots from the consulate. But we still have 2.5 months left for the season. So, in all likelihood, slots will come again. It's very unlikely that they will just, cancel out the entire season and not release any slots at all. There are some exchanges expected in terms of social media screening as well. We, in fact, have a video explaining this. So, but nothing is official by the US Embassy in India yet. There hasn't been any official announcement about the changes coming up. So, as of now, it's just status quo, and we are just waiting for the appointments and any update about the appointment. Of course, we're going to be tracking all of this really closely and bringing it to you right here. So, make sure to subscribe and stay tuned. And in the meanwhile, I would highly recommend that you stay prepared because once you get an appointment, it's usually quick. It's within a week or within 10 days. So you don't really have a lot of time to get ready once you have the, slot booked. So now is the time to take care in filling your DS-160 form, preparing your answers, start taking the mocks to just get into the zone of the interview. And for this, do check out all the services that we have. Our flagship program is the 7-day program. Many of you are already enrolled with us for the 7-day, and I feel this is a stress free way to prepare because we start with analyzing your profile, helping you in the DS-160 form, interview prep, as well as the mocks. And we also have other ways in which you can prepare with me. We have a core package, we also have single sessions. So, details of all of the good stuff is right below in the description box. Do take a look and do reach out on our WhatsApp number if you have any other questions. So I hope this video has helped you. I would highly recommend joining our WhatsApp community because in this community, students regularly share their experience and everything that they have gathered information, and you could really benefit by connecting with other students and just keeping up with the trends of what's going on in F1 visa interview. We also have more videos coming up. I know that a lot of you also have questions about the availability of F1 visa slots. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope this has helped you. Next, do watch this video on CA certificate. A lot of you ask us questions about CA certificate, and this video is going to clear all your doubts. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.